The 2011 budget is passed in the lower house. More exhibition winners are announced. And in sports, Combermere takes another school's cricket title.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News. Prime Minister Frondell Stewart says government is mindful of the economic difficulties facing Barbadians, and he says his administration is doing its best to minimize the pain. The Prime Minister was speaking in Parliament as he gave his full support last evening to the budgetary measures proposed by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair.
Barbados is in a difficult situation. We have fiscal problems, we have a deficit problem. There are issues related to the cost of living, which are affecting, an issue which is affecting people in the society. There is some pain around, and the government is not insensitive to the pain being felt by people in the society. What we are trying to do is to minimize the impact of that pain.
Mr. Stewart says there is no need for the gloom and doom attitude adopted by the opposition.
Do not accept that Barbados is in a state where the choice people now have to make is between despondency, despair, and total extinction. And that the best they can do is to ask God to help them to choose wisely. We don't accept that. There are challenges, but we were made for tough times. And we on this side will face those challenges down. The Democratic Labour Party did it already, and we will do it again.
Well, there's good news for CLICO policyholders awaiting word on whether they will receive reimbursement from the company. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair has revealed that government has made some headway into the matter. In his wind-up speech in the 2011 budget debate, he said he won't meet with the judicial manager of CLICO until they've produced something concrete. Mr. Sinclair says the way is now paved for an agreement.
And I got a call only on Monday, a BBI message. Minister, can you meet with the judicial manager? Do they have something worth discussing? We believe we have a proposal that can work. And therefore, I am meeting with them next week. And if all is agreed, we will do what we have to do to ensure that we can solve CLICO without pulling down Barbados financially and allow those people to at least get back what we promised they will get back.
Well, the Finance Minister says an agreement is also being fashioned for policyholders of British American Insurance Company Limited. Mr. Sinclair also spoke about the situation with Barak Construction, saying that government will settle the issue before the end of the year.
The Minister of Housing and myself are going to make a proposal to the Cabinet that finally resolves that sordid affair caused by the Barbados Labour Party and dumped on us. Yes. So I taking them off. No, they called me the do-it minister. It can be done, I can do it.
A major thrust is being made to provide markets with products sold by local farmers. It's all part of what Agriculture Minister Dr. David Eswick says is his assignment to develop a state trading enterprise. Dr. Eswick told Parliament that next week, vegetable and food crop farmers will be able to call the Barbados Agriculture Management Company directly to negotiate contracts to sell their produce to supermarkets. He will also ask the Ministry of Health, which manages the QEH and the Geriatric Hospital, and the Ministry of Education to buy into the program.
We are going to contract the farmers directly to supply those $1 million of fruits and vegetables. And I will hope that Super Center will come on board, Wix will come on board, the hotels will come on board, so that the farmers in Barbados can have an assured market from their demand. And I can say this to you, the honorable member for Christchurch East Central. I said to him, sir, sooner or later we are going to be writing asking to get some of the school meals contracts and farmers as well.
Dr. Eswick says radical changes are coming to the management of the BAMC and the sugar industry given international competition.
When you have now a Barbados Cane Industry Corporation that is supposed to deal with factories, you then have a Barbados Agricultural Management Company supposed to deal with the agronomic side and farms, and you have a Barbados Agricultural Credit Trust to deal with the financing. You know the trade them don't talk to one another. There is no superstructure that manages the three towards the objective of the development of the sugar industry and alternatively the vegetables and fruit. What I intend to do, Mr. Speaker, is to create a holding company on top of them and put the requisite management in place, sir, and I will get that done within the next few months as well.
Education Minister Ronald Jones has described the summer camps program as an important social policy, and he's told the House of Assembly of his disappointment that members of the opposition Barbados Labour Party do not share this opinion.
I don't fathom it. I don't understand when we can put 3.5 years old, 4-year-olds, up to 16-year-olds, 10,500 into summer camps in this country, to allow working mothers and fathers to go off to work and know that their young ones are well protected, well taken care of. And if we spend 4.5 million of their tax dollars on their children, why is the honourable member for St. Joseph complaining? I do not understand it. Why is the honourable member for St. Andrew complaining?
MP for St. George South and Minister of Labour Dr. Esther Bayer-Suku has dismissed suggestions that the National Insurance Scheme is being ravaged by government. Dr. Bayer-Suku says successive administrations have utilised the NIS but have always used common sense in their approach to ensure its survival.
Barbados Port Inc., Needham's, Newton Business Park, BNOCL, CBC, all of these between up to 2007, Mr. Speaker, all of these agencies and statutory corporations got loans from the National Insurance Scheme, Mr. Speaker. We will not ravage the social security system because it is a part of our vision, ensuring a future for us and our children. And to that end, I want to encourage all Barbadians, including those self-employed persons, to contribute to the National Insurance Scheme.
Well, an opposition MP says Barbadians got change they could do without when they elected the current government. St. Joseph MP Dale Marshall claims the country's fortunes have taken a turn for the worse since the DLP took office.
We have changed, sir, from a prosperous nation to one where there is an overpowering sense of poverty and helplessness. We have changed, sir, from a nation that enjoyed the best unemployment rates in the region and among the best in the world to having lost 11 or 12,000 jobs in the last 3 years. We have changed, sir, from manageable deficits to unmanageable deficits.
Mr. Marshall also charges that while government is trying to play down the difficulties facing the country, most people recognize their challenges.
The professional economists say that the nation is in crisis. And the home economists, sir, are also saying that the nation is in crisis. The individuals, Mr. Speaker, who have little shops know what is happening in the economy because they're not making any profit. They can't sell beer. They're not moving any product. They don't need to be university-trained economists to know it.
Well, on that point, Health Minister Donville Innes is concerned about how some economists in Barbados are practicing. In his contribution to the budget debate, Mr. Innes says he is even more worried about what's being taught by some of them at the UWI Cavell campus.
If what I'm reading in the newspapers today and comments coming from some of those economists up there, I think we all have reasons to be deeply concerned as a society in terms of the quality of what is being taught up there and the honesty and sincerity with which is being taught. Perhaps there are too many Barbadians Labour Party associated economists at Cavell campus, and that is why you get what you see in this society. You can no longer look to them for any guidance whatsoever. And the same way they have a right to go to breakfasts and write in the newspapers every week and attack this government and their enlightened policies, let me make it clear, they too must feel the wrath of our tongue from time to time.
Well, debate on government's financial statement and budgetary proposals hit a light-hearted tone on the final day of discussion and during what may be the final budget contribution of the member for Christchurch West. Stating that he would not be contesting the next general election, Dr. William Duguid described Tuesday's presentation by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair as DLP soup.
DLP soup is when you boil water and put ketchup in it for flavor. No dumplings, no carrots, no beets, certainly no meat. It is just water and ketchup for flavor. And that is what people in Barbados are now calling DLP soup. And that is what this budget was. Water and a few spatterings of give-outs for flavor.
More reaction to the budget and other stories when the evening news returns. Government's budget, which was approved in the House last night, is getting the support from the island's largest trade union. General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Senator Sir Roy Trotman, has labelled it a good and well-rounded budget, which will give a shot in the arm to the economy. Sir Roy says that the tourism sector is one which stands to benefit.
The hotel industry should be pleased that there's the stimulation, and we hope that the tourist industry and the rest of the productive elements in our country will surely benefit from that production, and that as good shepherds they will share with the workers who have contributed to that stirring and to the effort of causing the government to realize the needs of the people of our country.
Barbados is on track for a record year of tourist arrivals. Tourism Minister Richard Seeley made the announcement during a reception marking the end of Hotel Workers Week 2011. He says in July, Barbados had more than 58,000, the highest ever.
It has been our strongest month so far for the year. And, you know, we've always spoken of this issue of trying to get more tourists off-peak outside of the winter season. And I am very encouraged by the fact that through the hard work and the sacrifice and the compromises that we've all made, that we have come to that point. The first week in August was also extremely strong. 20% higher than for the similar period last year. And it looks like if August will also finish with some very strong numbers, record numbers. And that, I think, therefore, gives you an opportunity to also feel good about your work because it is making a difference.
Minister Seeley says the hotel workers have played a major role in the success of the tourism industry.
Why Barbados has fared so well during this crisis is because our tourism sector has held firm. We saw a slight decline in 2009, that is true, but we have fought right back. And here in 2011, we are on the verge of a record year. Congratulations to all of you because you made that possible.
The list of exhibition winners for this year has been increased. Education Minister Ronald Jones made the announcement today at the ministry's headquarters. The winners, along with their parents, assembled for that meeting with education officials, which was used to clarify any areas of the scholarship. It was also an opportunity for the minister to meet with face-to-face with the students, though not disclosing that the names that were added to the list. Mr. Jones said that the 8 students were not from secondary schools.
From the Barbados Community College, we were able to go through with them quite painstakingly their process, and we have recommended to Cabinet that an additional 8 students be afforded the opportunity to be called Barbados exhibition winners. So I want to compliment them as well. I don't think they know as yet who they are because there is still a little process that has to be completed. But I'm sure it would meet the satisfaction and the approval of the Cabinet of Barbados. So that will take our numbers this year from the original 34 to some 42.
The Education Minister said he wanted to see more males receiving scholarships and exhibitions, but was heartened by the numbers this year. He also revealed that this year's CSEC results looked promising.
Preliminary information released to me would suggest that Barbados has done well this year again in fact, that there is an improvement over last year. I am constantly looking for improvement, and I'm told we might have had a 2 to 2.3% improvement over last year. Yeah. Now, it says if we continue on that trajectory, I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I want to see a little bigger incremental movement over the next 5 years.
Police have arrested 44 children between the ages of 10 and 19 so far this year. This startling figure has been revealed by Police Commissioner Aug19, who says the children were mostly arrested for burglary. He says more and more people are going before the courts for the first time at very young ages, and this is cause for major concern.
It has been shown that the younger the offender, when he or she starts to offend, the more likely that he or she will continue and become a career criminal.
Commissioner Doughton was speaking during a recital and exhibition by the members of Camp Fusion at the Plantation Garden Theatre last night. Camp Fusion is a musical camp organized by the Pinelands Creative Workshop in association with the Royal Barbados Police Force Band. Commissioner Doughton says it's no secret that the Pine has had its share of negative publicity, but he suggests that the camp is a major success story and an example that other communities should follow.
I think it's a model that could be copied. And there's a lot to be said for the cooperation by state agencies, by non-governmental organizations and bodies and community groups, of which the Pineland Creative Workshop is a fine example. And I wish to emphasize community efforts because I think many countries, many communities make the mistake of depending on the state to address all of our ills. But community effort, community cooperation can be a powerful tool in addressing these issues, to harness the skills and the resources in communities to provide mentorship and guardianship for young people.
About 20 workers at Westbury Cemetery have given the Board of the Sanitation Service Authority until Monday to reassign Superintendent of the cemetery, Ricky Cummins. This follows industrial action by the workers last Friday and another meeting yesterday with management of the SSA and the National Union of Public Workers. CBC understands the workers are adamant that if Mr. Cummins is not reassigned from next Tuesday, they will be staging industrial action at the cemetery, saying they are no longer prepared to work with him. Mr. Cummins is reported to be against the subcontracting of the digging of graves at the cemetery by the 10 soil technicians there, saying he plans to stamp out the practice once and for all. When contacted, Deputy General Secretary of the NUPW, Rosalind Smith, said she had no comment to make on the matter, while efforts to reach acting SSA General Manager Janice Jones were unsuccessful. When we come back, a live report from Belize, which is bracing for Tropical Storm Harvey. But first, here's our courts quiz. Who was crowned Calypso monarch back in 1965? Crowned Calypso monarch back in 1965 singing Granny's Proverbs. The people of Belize are gearing up for a major tropical storm heading their way. CBC's Rosemary Allen is just off Belize for the 42nd annual general meeting of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and joins us live. Good evening, Rosemary.
Good evening, Lisa.
What are the conditions there like at the moment?
What I can tell you, Lisa, looking outside now, there's no indication of any tropical storm approaching. It is very still and quiet, and it's just after 5 in the evening here, and the sun is going down. But I can tell you that the government of Belize has issued a tropical storm warning. This means that we should begin feeling the impact of Tropical Storm Harvey sometime late tonight, I believe early tomorrow morning. We are being told to expect rain, and lots of it. And I was made to understand today that the last time Amberdiki, this is the island on which we are staying, was impacted by a severe weather system was in 2000 when Hurricane Keith passed close by. That time it rained here for 3 days. My colleagues and I are attending the Caribbean Broadcasting Union's 42nd annual general meeting, and those of us that remain here on this, what I like to call a sandy formation in the Caribbean Sea, are in no real danger as the full impact of the tropical storm is expected to the south of us, the island that we are on is in the north, but the mainland is expected to be impacted by gusty winds and heavy rain. In fact, they're predicting about 3 to 8 inches of rain, which is expected to produce lots of mudslides and flash floods. But I can tell you that on the mainland, people are very well prepared. The National Emergency Organization there has summoned and mobilized all the, I think they call them some kind of community groups, but it's equivalent to our district emergency organizations. Everybody is mobilized. People are being asked if they live in low-lying areas where flooding is normally expected. They're being urged to move to higher ground. The mariners are being asked to carry their boats to safe harbor. And in fact, people on the mainland are being advised not to travel out here to the Keys where we are staying. And I can tell you that the seas were choppy this morning because we were supposed to go on a boat trip to a marine reserve, but that had to be canceled because of the choppy seas that are being experienced here. Lisa?
And we trust that you're safe, Rosemary.
Yes, all of us are safe. We are just here, sitting there waiting to see what will happen tonight and tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, Rosemary. Aline, who's just off Belize on the island of Ambergike for the 42nd annual general meeting of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union. Of course, Belize is preparing for Tropical Storm Harvey, which is heading their way between tonight and tomorrow morning. Well, the International Monetary Fund says it expects the economic growth in St. Lucia to slow down to about 2% this year. The fund has just ended a 2-week visit to the island discussing economic developments and macroeconomic policies. Its staff met with Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Stephenson King, as well as opposition legislators and members of the private sector and trade union movement. The IMF says the island's economy recovered rapidly from the global crisis, supported by timely policy action by the authorities and a rebound in construction and tourism. Well, the Lime Sports World is just ahead, but right now we'll have that tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
In 2009, 11% of strokes in Barbados were hemorrhagic strokes, where blood vessels burst causing bleeding in the brain. A fact brought to you from the Barbados National Registry.
Very good evening. I'm Mark Seal with your Lime Sports World. Despite losing yesterday's Lime Under 15 final, Combermere can still boast of being the top schools cricket team in Barbados. Today, they won the BCA Under-19 title to make it 3 out of 4 championships for 2011. They also won the Sagari International and the BCA Under-13. Now, this evening, they defeated Barbados Community College by 7 wickets after BCC were asked to bat first. CBC's Anne-Marie Burke was at Kensington Oval.
When Combermere won the toss and chose to field, it was a decision well made, as with just 8 runs on the board, a breakthrough would come. Barbados Community College's first wicket would fall. Merton McCarthy, caught by Justin Graves off the bowling of Brandon King. Shamario Nurse would soon join McCarthy in the pavilion. Shem Holder holding on to the catch. King picks up his second wicket. Oh, and only 1 run was added to the score. That brought in the experienced Kyle Mears, and shots like this signaled he would be danger. His teammate Drew Glasgow would not be left out, he too getting a boundary. But that would be his only one, as trying to hit this one hard and high, it didn't play as desired. Holder with another catch. Shane Mosey the bowler. Glasgow made 10. Wicket number 4, Mario Marshall, bowled by Mosley. Meanwhile, Mears held the ship steady. This attempted diving save couldn't prevent the ball from running away. He would smash yet another 4. And here he goes again, racking up the runs. He led his side with a knock of 30 before he fell at the hands of Chad Williams, caught and bowled. BCC now 63 for 5. But Mears' departure signaled a collapse. Some accurate fielding saw Kevin Earl run out for just 3. Dario Prescott would then go for 6 as Mosey held on to the ball. Williams with his 3rd wicket. Sean Merritt would come in and add some glimmer of hope, single-handedly adding 10 to the score. The innings' lone 6 included. But he too would fall. Jonathan Drakes with the catch, giving Chad Williams figures of 4 for 21. 2 more wickets to fall. Chris St. Hill stumped by wicketkeeper Glasgow for a duck. And Romario Ben, also without a run, would go caught by Chad Williams off the bowling of Shem Holder. BCC all out for 76. Combermere set the easy target of 77 for victory. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. And Combermere reached that target of 77 in 21.5 overs and for the loss of just 3 wickets. Skipper Craig Brathwaite once again led from the front with an unbeaten 33. Daniel Rogers ended with 2 for 34 for BCC. Now, after seeing this year's Lyme Under-15 final between Combermere and champion St. Leonard's boys, First Vice President of the Barbados Cricket Association, Conde Riley, is confident about the future of Barbados and West Indies cricket. Riley, whose emphasis at the BCA is on youth development, was speaking at the prize-giving ceremony after the game at the Lyme Cricket Ground last evening.
The Barbados Cricket Association is investing in the youth. The Avenue Week Center of Excellence has been put there as a facility where our coaches can work with the best players in each age group. And I dare say that whilst we are not winning every cup at the junior level, that we can see the fruits of our labors in terms of what is happening at the under-19 level. I look forward in a number of years to see all of you still playing cricket and keeping the rich tradition of Barbados in regional cricket at the top.
Easy Bake St. Leonard's defeated 5-time champions Combermere to capture their first ever Under-15 title. The captain, Desmond Currency, was there to collect the hardware for his team, which beat Combermere on first innings points in the 3-day contest. Riley, along with Managing Director of Lyme, Alex MacDonald, were on hand for that presentation. Also there was Simone Codrington Miller, Corporate Communications Officer of Lyme. She presented the award to the batsman with the most runs, Hassani Newton, who got 479, and the bowler with the most wickets, Romario Knight, with 52. The Barbados karate team ended with 20 gold medals at the 9th Caribbean Championships, which ended recently in Grenada. Corey Graves and Andrea Lovell, with 3 gold medals and 1 bronze each, were tied for the male grand champion of the tournament. Graves got gold in the individual kata, team kumite, while he collected the bronze in individual kumite. Christopher Coppin was the most outstanding junior male with 3 gold medals. Competing in the 13 to 15 age group, he won individual kata, individual kumite, and was part of the winning junior team kata. In all, Barbados won 34 medals, 20 gold, 8 silver, and 6 bronze. After the break, we'll have news of track and field. Canadian Gregmar Swift is into the semifinals of the 110-meter hurdles at the World University Games in China. Swift clocked 13.94 seconds to win his heat today. Meanwhile, Shakira Reese was 8th in her women's 200-meter semifinal. She didn't make it to the final. Her time was 24.13.
Good evening, I'm Kent Jerson. This is the Business Report. Barbados' central bank governor enjoys the unwavering support of the government despite the criticism he gets from some quarters. Prime Minister Frondell Stewart says his administration has full confidence in Dr. Delal Worrell. He made this clear while contributing to the budgetary debate in Parliament last evening.
He's a highly educated Barbadian. He's a trained economist. He got a first-class honors in economics when they were not as popular as they are now. And as far as we are concerned, he puts much thought into the things he says to the government.
Meantime, the central bank has announced a turnaround in its financial performance in 2010. The bank, in its just published annual report, confirmed a profit of $3 million. The institution further stated that the 2010 profit will be applied to the accumulated deficit of $9.4 million. And Barbadian employers are being encouraged to join global, regional, and national efforts to make workforce training more relevant and effective. Labour Minister Dr. Esther Barasuku made the call at the launch of the TVET Employers Recognition Awards. She says this is all part of the effort to make the technical and vocational education and training more in sync with demand for labour in the local workforce. Dr. Barasuku says there are several ways in which this can be done.
One of which is liaising with the TVET Council to develop and approve occupational standards to guide competence-based training, assessment and certification, which emphasizes quality job performance. Also, by contributing to the pool of on-the-job training in the form of apprenticeships, job attachments, and work experience placements that are available so as to integrate skills development and training with sustainable job creation activities.
Dr. Barasuku says Barbados is taking steps to ensure that its workforce has the necessary knowledge, skills, and competencies to compete at the global level.
I know we as Barbadians tend to compare the Barbadian workforce with others elsewhere, and sometimes we tend only to see what is good in other places and what is bad here in Barbados, and we always berate our own. But I believe that it is achievable, the goal of having a workforce that can compete and compare favorably with any across the world. That is achievable.
Now, is political theory relevant to Barbados' economic dilemma? That was the question addressed today at the general meeting held by the Barbados Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. The presenter, political consultant Pika Wickham, took the view that ideology is important as it helps to identify and defend priorities.
We need this defense of priorities now more than ever before, because in a current economic situation where we are cash-strapped, where money is tight, and things of this nature, I feel it is absolutely important for us to be able to say what is our priority, what are our number one issues, what do we need to deal with first and foremost, and what can we perhaps defer until later. And I think that we need to defend this, and I think for that our philosophical and ideological grounding is absolutely important.
A brief look at the stocks now. Here's a summary of today's trading on some of the region's stock exchanges.
A very good evening to all, and we had a scorching hot day here in Barbados and indeed across most of the island chain today. But there's a system brewing in the eastern Atlantic, and as a result the Meteorological Office issued a special weather bulletin this evening at 3. I'm going to give you it here verbatim. An area of low pressure centered in the vicinity of 13 degrees north, 50 degrees west, associated with an approaching tropical wave about 650 miles to the east of Barbados, is being monitored for further development. Environmental conditions are expected to become more favorable as the system gets closer to the island chain over the next 12 to 24 hours. Now, regardless of the development, the leading edge of this system will result in deteriorating conditions across Barbados from early tomorrow with cloudy to overcast skies, periods of moderate to heavy showers and thunderstorms along with some gusty winds. Now, residents are urged to remain on the alert and continue to listen for any further updates. And of course, I'll give you the details now shortly. The temperature though, the maximum temperature at the airport, spoke of the hot temperature, 31.7 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature was 23.9. At 6 o'clock, skies were fair. The temperature was on its way down, 28.9. The humidity, 82%. And the winds are out of the east-northeast at 19 kilometers per hour. And there's yet another rather active system in the far eastern Atlantic, Barbados right around here. The tropical wave in the vicinity of 23 degrees to the west, the activity is to the south of 24 degrees north, and there's a 10.06 millibar low in the vicinity of 15 degrees to the north. The system is presently tracking to the west-northwest, and that could become a tropical depression in the next 48 hours or so. But this is the system we are looking at quite closely, a vigorous tropical wave with an area of low pressure in the vicinity of 13 degrees north. Let's put the cloud in motion. Now, our expectations are that the leading edge of this tropical wave, here is the system, the low is in the vicinity of 13 13 degrees north, approximately 51 degrees west. Barbados, of course, 13 degrees north, approximately 59.5 degrees west. The trajectory of this wave is going to take the activity into the just to the north of Barbados, and there are quite a few showers and heavy thunderstorms embedded in this system. Now, the model data is suggesting that the environment ahead of this tropical wave is quite conducive to some development, and as a result, we are urging all residents in Barbados and indeed in the island chain to be on the alert, because we are expecting later tonight and into tomorrow the leading edge of this system to generate some heavy showers, thunderstorms and gusty winds in Barbados and indeed across the island chain. Indications are that the cloudy skies should very well persist with us into Sunday. Of course, there's this long tail into the region of the intertropical convergence zone, so a considerable amount of cloud is going to be sweeping into the area. I'll be back after the break. Welcome back, and this is our depiction of what we're going to be expecting in Barbados and the region tomorrow. As I indicated, the trajectory of the wave is going to be taking it across Barbados and mostly the central portion of the region, and we're going to be looking at some pretty adverse conditions, so we're urging you to be very vigilant as the system moves closer to the area, expecting a deterioration in conditions, so you expect those conditions to spread across us from early tomorrow morning, and cloudy conditions could very well remain with us into Sunday. Take a look now at our 4-day projection. We're looking at Saturday through to Tuesday. Showers, thunderstorms come Sunday. Quite similar picture, possibility of showers, some thunderstorms. Into Monday, most of the activity is expected to be out of the area, but there's still going to be a considerable amount of moisture around. The winds are expected to fall off, and the possibility of some localized showers could very well be with us. So Saturday through Sunday, look, we expect some shower activity, and we're urging you to continue to be quite cautious and vigilant. Sunrise in Barbados tomorrow, 5:46. Sunset will be at 16 minutes after 6. The tide situation, 28 minutes to 8 in the AM. The second is going to be at 7:30 in the PM. The first low tide, 22 minutes to 2 early tomorrow morning. The second is going to be at 7 minutes after 1 in the afternoon. Seas at this time, slight to moderate in open water, swells will be peaking around 2 meters. The winds, east-northeasterly to easterly, 10 to 35 kilometers per hour. We could very well expect some higher gusts, of course, when the activity starts to affect Barbados and the region tonight. Partly cloudy at first, becoming increasingly cloudy with showers and isolated thunderstorms. Tomorrow, overcast with moderate to heavy showers, scattered thunderstorms and occasional gusty winds.